What's up? It feels like a long time since I made a video for this channel, and I really am determined to make it be more consistent with this channel. Partly because you know, this is a channel that I created from my books and things like that, and this is a channel that is called Jamal Thompson. It's called my name, right? And so this channel just off that uh, has a special place in my heart, and it's also because part of the reason why I haven't been making as much videos for this channel is because I do podcasts for myself, right? So it's a different avenue and medium, and a lot of times it's the podcast audience is just completely different than the YouTube audience, right? But what I'm going to try to do is I'm gonna sometimes tell you guys, like in this, like for instance, in the description, you're gonna see my podcast links, right? So I had a podcast called TV Spot, and with the death of my partner Heck Martinez, I started over with certain things. So I have TV Spot Reloaded, and you know, when so though the YouTube audience and the podcast audience are different, I had many people, especially my Cyrus King channel, ask me, "Oh, what are some of the podcast stuff you're doing?" So I have a link of the old TV Spot, which has a lot of episodes, right? Focus mostly on comic book shows, and the new TV Spot, right, which I'm really getting into WandaVision. And so this video is about WandaVision, and WandaVision is really impressing me because the first two episodes I didn't really love. 4 and 5, they hit it out the park. And it's not just that they hit it out the park. I don't think people watching, the thing about Marvel movies that's fine and interesting is you get people, because Marvel movies kind of go like this, right? If you get 10 people, let's say you get three out of 10 who are straight Marvel fans, they drink the Kool-Aid. Marvel could do anything and they love it, right? They get excited for fucking trailers, blah, blah, blah. Then you get the other 4 out of 10 who they're casual Marvel fans, so they ain't gonna go see every movie. They're gonna probably see Avengers, right? Maybe Iron Man, but they're not gonna go see every movie, right? And so for them, Marvel has to do it right, because those people in the middle will be like, if they don't do it right, they may not go back to another movie. And then you get the 3 out of 10, which people who hate comic movies, right? So nothing. They say comic movies are cheesy. They say comic movies are predictable. And, I'm a writer. So, I mean, look, you even get some people in traditional Hollywood who will say the same thing, right? So, or because you're a writer doesn't mean you're going to see the truth. But here's the truth. You are never going to see again, right? And look, you have people who love DC, and I like DC too, but look, let's keep it real. You are never going to see again. Marvel did 22 movies that are connected to each other for over a 10-year span, and they hit them all, right? Some better than others. You may not like all 22, but for the most part, it was a success. You will never see that again. And what they're doing now with their TV show, well, potentially with their TV shows, it's even worse, right? In a good way. You will never see that again. So when a person says, "Oh, it's predictable, it's not good writing," how could you say something is not good writing if no one could replicate it? I remember there was a time when we thought we were going to get a whole bunch of shared universes, right? There was talk of putting like Men in Black and Jason Bourne together. Like everyone was trying to do it. And guess what? Almost none of the movies came out. Why? It's hard to make a shared universe. That's why. It's hard to make a shared universe. Don't let anyone fool you. So when you look at WandaVision, why 4 and 5 killed it was because they linked it. I mean, it was really linked back to the MCU. And them introducing Quicksilver in episode 5, them basically showing you how powerful Wanda is, right? And because I'm going, this is gonna be 9 episodes. I just saw 5, right? So this is kind of a compilation of all 5 episodes, right? But they're showing you how powerful Wanda is, right? Just those two things itself, because when they first introduced WandaVision, or the concept, they said that we tied into Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Now we know it's tied into Spider-Man. With Quicksilver, now we know it's going to be tied into X-Men. I mean, that's how they probably bring the X-Men in. And for Wanda to be able to affect the multiverse, Because I don't think people understand. Like, I mean, they may change it, but in the comic books, even the Infinity Gauntlet itself only worked in the universe of origin. So in the comic universe, the Infinity Gauntlet was Earth 616, right? So it couldn't work in Earth 617. In this, Wanda is affecting the multiverse. So now, with comic writing is not really consistent, so they might change that. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. When they said in Endgame, Endgame, or actually it was Infinity War, right? The first one, that Thanos won 14 million outcomes and he only lost one, right? Now, they never brought it up again. They probably never bring it up again. But if you're honest, that means Thanos runs the Marvel multiverse. If he won every single outcome except one, that means in all those other universes, what Thanos did worked, but they just dropped it. Because you get that with comic writing. Because the comics itself, that's why comics itself will never be considered great literature, because the comics itself, it represents an energy that's kind of beyond the art, that can almost take a life of its own, right? So it's kind of hard. Like when you have a regular art form and you make a detective, that aspect of the detective is not going to be outside of your power, right? So if you make a detective smart, you make a detective dumb, it's going to kind of be the same standard. But if you say, I'm going to make a super soldier called Captain America, and he's not as strong as Spider-Man, but he's like way stronger than a regular human being, you can have that in your mind, but there's so many other things they can build off that almost like the character itself becomes out of your control. And when it becomes out of your control, a regular person who's not a comic book fan will say, that's bad writing. And that's what happens with comics and comic movies. People don't really realize and I picked Captain America. He's kind of easy. Because he's kind of more human still. You take a character like the Flash, right? Perfect. You take a character like the Flash, you say he can run fast. Like, that's a perfect example. You take a character like the Flash, he can run fast. Then you keep making him run fast. Then he can run fast in light. Then he could go back in time. The minute he could go back in time and he could affect reality, he could affect the multiverse, he is now more powerful than you might have originally created him to be, right? Literally. Flash could be considered one of the most powerful beings in the universe. He could change the multiverse, or he could affect the multiverse. He could at least affect individual universes. But when he was made, you might have only had in mind to be a fast dude. That's the problem when you make comics. Comics, it's an avenue that you could have one intention and it could go way beyond your control, and then all of a sudden people will say it's bad writing, right? So literally, the reason why I think this is important, because I don't think people understand, if they keep the way it is in the comics, Wanda potentially could be more powerful than the Infinity Gauntlet. She may not be durable, right? She's still in the physical, so the Gauntlet is still probably more powerful. But the fact that they even said in this show that she's affecting cosmic radiation that was from the Big Bang, that's when the Infinity Gauntlet was made. The Infinity Stones was made, right? So it just tells you the power level she's dealing with, right? And it tells you, and Marvel's doing this in their TV show. Tells you a lot. It really does, right? So I'm definitely gonna try to post more. And if you wanna check out my podcast, it's in the links. I appreciate the support. Thanks for the patience and me being inactive in this channel, but I'm definitely gonna start trying to crank it up, right? So I said Cyrus King, but it's the Jamal Thompson channel. So this is Jamal Thompson, creative Om, right? Oism Om, right? That ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna relaunch a lot of my books. Not relaunch, but I still got that stuff cooking. I'm way more focused now. Have to take care of little shit, but I'm back. So until next time, peace.